Welcome to Aligned AF, real talk for evolving souls with Yahweh Kent. Join Yahweh for honest conversations on spiritual growth, the messiness of life, and how to move through it all at a higher frequency. So grab a cup of tea and let's sail in. This is Aligned AF, and here's Yahweh.
Hey everybody, it's Yahweh and I am back. It has been since December. So what's that? January, February, March, all of April. Yeah, it's been a good 4 months since I've done a recording of any kind, let alone a new podcast episode, but I am bringing it back. We've got all the podcasts episodes previously recorded. There's 20 something of them out there on YouTube. They're on Spotify. They're on Amazon Music. They're on Apple Podcasts. They're on iHeartRadio and several others. And those have been out there for a while, and they're doing well. But I took a little bit of a sabbatical. As you guys may or may not know, we uprooted the entire family in a very unique way and moved us to Oregon. So back in actually just about a year ago, we took a family vacation to Ashland, Oregon, and we just absolutely fell in love with the town and the whole Pacific Northwest vibe. Visited Mount Shasta, just really, really felt the vibe of the Pacific Northwest, and it was really calling us. And Alara has been wanting to get out of the Kansas City area for, years and years and years and years. And I had been there coming up on 11 years, and after I visited Ashland, I was just like, yeah, this has got the potential to be home. So Alara started looking for jobs. As you guys know, I'm retired and I stay home with Orion. So she found a great opportunity. She applied for it. She got an interview right away. She got hired right away. And her job offer was significantly higher than what she was making before. And so we had a very serious talk as a family. Are we actually considering doing this? And we went for it. Now, the only way it could work, considering the lease we were in on our home in Kansas City, our lease wasn't up until the following spring. She got the job offer in like August of 2025, and our lease wasn't up until like May 1st of 2026. And it would have been, a rush job. It would have been significant fines. So we talked about it, and Alara decided she was ready. And we as a family decided that Alara was going to come out here by herself. She was going to rent a room in a house somewhere, someplace safe, and start her job. And so she did that. So last September, she packed up her car and her mom went on a road trip with her, and she drove to Oregon, and Orion and I stayed behind and started purging stuff out of the house and started packing boxes and just, and continued living our lives and, making sure his school was still a stable part of his life and he still had time with his friends. And, we had the dog. So all of that stuff was kind of my job while she went to Oregon and started her new career and eventually found a place for us to live. So holidays came, she visited for a couple of weeks, she went back. And in January, she started, looking around at houses and, what would fit for our family. So we did it. She found a house almost right away, was able to get it for um, for March, and she was able to move into it around the middle of March, with literally bare minimum. Like, I ordered her a bed and a dresser that she had to put together herself, and then other than that, it was. And let me tell you about Ashland and about the neighbors here, because that's really a key to all this. First of all, where she was living prior, she became really good friends with the woman she was renting the room from. Um, Took care of her dogs, went for walks with her, just they hung out. They're still good friends. And when she moved into the new home with literally nothing but the bed and the dresser and the two nightstands that I ordered. Um, the neighbors all showed up and were like, "Who are you? Welcome to the neighborhood. You don't have any furniture. When are you going to get it? Oh, not until middle of April." So neighbors on one side gave her a table and four chairs so she had a place to sit and eat, and maybe do her work if she worked from home that day. And then the neighbor on the other side gave her a lawn chair, and her old roommate gave her some camping gear so she could have pots and pans and dishes and stuff to cook in. And they just kind of all came together and supported her, while she lived alone in this house for 3 weeks. And then she flew out to Kansas City at the in the first week of April. We got the house completely ready. Movers came. That's an episode right there. I'm not going to get into it here because, quite honestly, it's bad energy. But I am going to do an episode about these movers and just how shitty the company itself was. Not the movers themselves, but the company itself was bullshit. But we got that squared away, and we emptied out the house. And of course, I had way too much left over to fit in the car. So I still had to continue to purge and throw out and give away. And she flew back April like 2nd, I think, 2nd or 3rd. And we hit the road on a Friday. And our plan was to have like this little family vacation road trip, because we may not be able to do that again for a while because moving was pretty damn expensive. So we headed across Kansas. That took, what, 5, 6 days? Kansas sucks, man. No offense to anybody that lives in Kansas. Parts of it are nice. Parts of it are beautiful. The cities are nice and stuff, but driving across 70 is just never ends. And yeah, it wasn't fun. But we stayed overnight in a little town just like maybe 20 minutes from the border of Oklahoma. Then we crossed Oklahoma. We went across the Panhandle. We went through a little part of Texas, and then on into New Mexico, where we stayed in Albuquerque on the second night. Albuquerque was great. We had a great time. The food was wonderful. Everybody was happy. Oh, yeah, we had the dog in the car. So we had Alara, me, Orion, 80-pound dog, and all of our belongings that weren't on the moving truck packed into my Subaru. And so we left Albuquerque, and that next day we drove to Sedona. When we got to Sedona, we decided to take an extra day, just to kind of decompress a little bit. And it was worth it. It was a good break because our long drive was ahead of us at that point. We had to cross the Mojave Desert, to get to California, and on to our next stops. So Sedona was beautiful. I couldn't enjoy the hiking too much. The altitude was just too much for me, but it was gorgeous. It was wonderful, and the accommodations were great. And so the next day we moved on to driving to Bakersfield, California. Going through the Mojave Desert was kind of like going through Kansas, but with mountains in the distance. Still just a long, hot drive. And up until that point, so now that's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So we're into day 5. And it was there where we kind of broke down a little bit. We had such a wonderful trip. Everybody was in a great mood. Even the dog was handling it well. And we were stopping regularly for pee breaks and to get drinks and to get snacks. And then going through the Mojave Desert, we started getting a little snappy with each other, and temperatures were raised a little bit. So we kind of were quiet for a while, just kind of dealing with our own stuff, I think. Probably a part of that, and going through the desert, and part of it, just getting closer to this new life and still purging some old shit. We got to Bakersfield, had a nice stay at an Airbnb. It was pleasant, but we weren't really doing anything in Bakersfield. The next day was kind of a fun day because it was only like a 2.5, 3 hour ride to Monterey, California. And we decided to go to the beach, mostly because Orion had never seen an ocean before. So we were excited about that. Well, Orion and the dog had a fucking blast at the beach in Monterey. Orion took to the ocean like he had been part of it his whole life. He didn't even hesitate. It didn't matter that the water was cold. He was in it. He just really had a good time. We were able to hang out a little during the day. Then we got into our hotel room, went out and had some good seafood that night. Orion ate his first raw oyster. He said it was okay. But he ate it raw. He didn't prepare it. He didn't cocktail sauce or horseradish or anything. He just went for the oysters. So if I can convince him to do it again, we'll try decorating it a little bit, giving it a little bit more flavor. But I'm just fucking proud of him for not even hesitating, just saying, yeah, I'll do it. And then we had some, I finished the dozen. Well, Alara had one too, but yeah, it was terrific. And then the last ride was 7, 8 hours to get home. We drove by Mount Shasta. It was beautiful. We had near perfect weather the entire trip, like literally beautiful sunshine, dry, no rain, just gorgeous all the way through until we were about an hour from home. And then this huge thunderstorm came through, going over the pass on the other side of Mount Shasta, where the elevation is 5,000 feet, and this huge thunderstorm came through, like a torrential downpour. And I mean, at the point where Alara was almost like, should I pull over? But traffic was moving along, so we just plowed through it. It was only for about 20 minutes or so, but it was literally the only point of bad weather, and it was right before we got home. And then we pulled in to our driveway. Alara naturally had been there for 3 weeks, but Orion and I pulled into the driveway for the first time and got to walk into the house that Alara had found for us. And I got to tell you, it immediately felt like home. The neighbors came outside a little later and introduced themselves, and heard a lot about you. Glad you're here. We're really excited to have you in the neighborhood. And sincere, not the typical, hey, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. I mean, these people have been amazing, and I got to tell you, it's I feel like I'm home. I really do. I use GPS to get around town for a couple of days, and now, I mean, it's such a nice little small town with only a couple of like big main roads. It's got shitloads of neighborhoods and all kinds of side streets that I could easily get lost in. But if I can find one of 2 main roads, I can always find my way home. So I've been really enjoying getting to know the town better. I drive around and I feel like I've always been here. And the other thing that just it 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 just hits me is no matter where I am in town, I'm surrounded by mountains. We are in a valley, and it's just beautiful. I drop Orion off at school, and when I leave his school and head back home, I go down this one street, this Walker Street, and in front of me at the stop sign is this whole beautiful mountain on the side across the street with some houses and a little bit of farmland, built partway into the side of it. And then it just keeps going up and up and up. And that's my view every fucking day. And I love it. It's just so beautiful. Um, Orion is in school. We got here. He had a weekend to kind of decompress for the trip, and then he started school that Monday, and he has been loving it. The kids have all embraced him. He's making friends right away. You all know, I've told you 100 times how smart this kid is, and he feels like he's right in his element there. A lot of the stuff that he's learning now is stuff that he knew, but then there's also a few things that he didn't know, but he's picking it up quickly. Like um, in Missouri, he had not learned about geometry yet. Now they're studying geometry, and he's picking it all up quickly, understanding area and perimeter and pi r squared and things like that. And that's third grade, which I don't remember doing that in third grade. He's learning architecture. He brought home this huge blueprint of the school that he converted into kind of like a home or a castle, and he's going to be building a second floor onto it. He's really, really happy in school. We've also got him signed up for summer Y camp for a couple of weeks to, make sure he stays active. And we're just really loving everything about it. Alara loves her job. Everything's going well. I got my heart doctors all set up so that I'm going to be needing a replacement battery on the old pacemaker soon. But I'm ahead of the game on that one. And we're all just kind of, automatically living our lives. I've got, the moving trucks showed up about 6 or 7 days after we got here. And our living room was just packed, 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 packed with boxes. Half the living room was full. And it took me 4 days, but I got all the boxes taken care of, except for a few in the office. And the office I did this last weekend. I finished it up. Got the office set up, got my podcast area kind of set up. It might need a few tweaks. And, I know this is just kind of downloading my life over the last few weeks. But there are some of you out there that have said you're interested. So I figured I'd throw this out there. Also needed to get back into the swing of talking, talking on, my setup, talking so that I can get back to my podcast, because there's a lot of stuff here I want to bring to you guys. We've got the Oregon Shakespeare Festival going on right now. Big theater area throughout the summer and the fall. Alara and I are getting ready to buy tickets to A Raisin in the Sun, but there's full Shakespeare all summer long. We got Midsummer's Night Dream coming, Hamlet coming, two or three other of Shakespeare's plays. Orion says he's really interested in checking it out, and there's nothing better than live theater. So I'm excited to kind of expose him to that. And then there's just nature. It's everywhere. I want to, get to the point where, I'm able to take off and go fishing for an afternoon. There's streams galore. in the Ashland area, and I'm ready to, do some trout fishing. And honestly, I don't care if I catch anything. I just want to hang out by a brook with my fishing rod and just chill in nature. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's some great restaurants in town. Everything here is kind of a one off. Ashland proper, like downtown, does not allow chain stores, does not allow big box stores. So you're not going to find a Walmart or a Target in town. There's no McDonald's. There is a Wendy's kind of on the outskirts of town. There's also a Chipotle a little ways out, and there's a Subway. And other than that, there's no real chain stores anywhere in the Ashland proper. You literally have to go to like 2 towns away just to get McDonald's. And I like that. I do, because, we have options like our favorite breakfast spot so far is this little place called Morning Glory, which we actually ate at when we were here on vacation and just fell in love with the food. So we've eaten there. There's a few restaurants downtown. Alora took me to one of her favorite lunch spots called Blue Toba, I think it was called, which is Indonesian food. And honestly, I had the best pork belly I've ever had in my life with this amazing cucumber limeade refreshing drink. So incredible. And that's typical of what we've got choices of in this town. So if I've teased you in any way, you should check out Ashland. Let me know you're coming, and we'll hang out. But be careful, because you might fall in love with the place, just like we did. That's it for now. I just wanted to do a short little catch up, let everybody know how things have been. There's a lot more details to come. Episodes of the podcast will be coming in a few weeks. And I'm looking forward to some new guests and maybe some repeat guests and some maybe, a whole new format to the show. It's still going to be Aligned AF. I toyed with the idea of changing it completely to Aligned as Fuck, but it's kind of hard to advertise that. So it's Aligned AF, Real Talk for the Evolving Soul. And we are going to talk about anything and everything, because everything in your life is a part of your evolution, even if it seems simple, even if it seems out there, even if it seems mundane. It's all a part of your evolution. So, welcome back. Thanks for listening. And I hope to talk to you all again real soon. And if you're interested in coming on my show and you've got something interesting to talk about, shoot me a line at alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. And I would love to talk to you about being a guest. Okay? In the meantime, remember that you're getting closer to Aligned AF every single day. Take care. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode spoke to you at all, share it with a friend or someone who needs it. You can also leave a review or connect with me online. You can find Aligned AF on YouTube, Facebook, your favorite podcast channel, or at alignedaf.org. And if you want to reach out directly, you can email me at alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, stay aligned AF.